Mary Wollstonecraft's A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, published in 1792, is one of the foundational texts of modern feminism. Written during the Enlightenment, the work challenges prevailing societal norms and argues for the rational education and moral equality of women. Wollstonecraft's central thesis is that women are not inherently inferior to men but appear so because of their lack of education. Her critique of societal structures, along with her advocacy for reform, forms the core of her revolutionary text. Historical context. The book emerged in an era marked by revolutionary fervor, particularly in France, where debates about liberty and equality were at their peak. Wollstonecraft was influenced by Enlightenment thinkers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, although she sharply critiqued their exclusion of women from their visions of equality. Her work was also a response to the French politician Charles Maurice de Talleyrand-Périgord, who argued that women should receive only a domestic education. Wollstonecraft's book defied such restrictive views, advocating instead for comprehensive and rational education for women as a means to achieve societal progress. Structure and argument. The book is structured as a series of essays that systematically dismantle the assumptions underpinning women's subordination. Wollstonecraft uses a reasoned and rhetorical style, appealing to logic, morality, and the principles of justice. Critique of gender norms. Wollstonecraft critiques the prevailing stereotypes that depict women as frivolous, emotional, and primarily concerned with beauty and domesticity. She argues that these traits are not inherent but are cultivated by a society that denies women access to meaningful education and opportunities for intellectual development. She compares women's status to that of soldiers, trained to obey without question and valued only for superficial qualities. Advocacy for education. A central tenet of Wollstonecraft's argument is the transformative power of education. She asserts that women, like men, are rational beings capable of reason and critical thought. Denying them education not only stunts their personal development but also undermines the moral and intellectual fabric of society. Wollstonecraft contends that educated women would be better wives, mothers, and citizens, contributing to the overall progress of humanity. She proposes coeducational schools where boys and girls are taught together, fostering mutual respect and understanding. This vision was revolutionary for its time and laid the groundwork for modern debates about gender equality in education. Criticism of marriage and domesticity. Wollstonecraft scrutinizes the institution of marriage, which she views as a form of legal and social bondage for women. She criticizes the notion that women's primary purpose is to please men and argues that such expectations degrade both genders. Marriage, she asserts, should be a partnership between equals, built on mutual respect and shared responsibilities. By reducing women to mere ornaments or caregivers, society deprives them of the opportunity to fulfill their potential and contributes to moral decay. Equality and virtue. For Wollstonecraft, equality between men and women is not only a matter of justice but also essential for fostering virtue. She argues that virtue cannot flourish in a society where one half of humanity is subjugated. Women, she insists, must be encouraged to cultivate their reason and independence, rather than being confined to superficial pursuits. By doing so, they can contribute to a more just and moral society. Critique of Rousseau. Wollstonecraft engages directly with the ideas of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, particularly his assertion in Émile that women should be educated solely to please men. While she acknowledges Rousseau's contributions to educational theory, she vehemently rejects his gendered assumptions. She accuses him of perpetuating a double standard that denies women the opportunity to develop their intellect and autonomy. Key themes. Rationality and education. Wollstonecraft's emphasis on reason reflects Enlightenment ideals. She insists that women, like men, are rational beings who deserve an education that cultivates their intellectual and moral capacities. Equality and justice. The book is a call for gender equality, rooted in the belief that justice and progress depend on recognizing women's potential as equal participants in society. Critique of patriarchy. Wollstonecraft exposes the ways in which patriarchal structures dehumanize women and hinder societal advancement. She critiques the cultural practices, literature, and educational systems that perpetuate these inequalities. Virtue and morality. Wollstonecraft links the liberation of women to the cultivation of virtue. She argues that a society that denies women moral agency cannot claim to be virtuous or just. Social reform. Beyond individual empowerment, Wollstonecraft envisions a society transformed by the equal education and moral elevation of both genders. Her work is a blueprint for comprehensive social reform. Style and rhetoric. Wollstonecraft's writing is characterized by its clarity, passion, and logical rigor. She employs rhetorical strategies such as analogies, appeals to reason, and moral arguments to persuade her audience. Her tone oscillates between assertive and conciliatory, reflecting her awareness of the controversial nature of her ideas. Despite her radical critiques, she grounds her arguments in widely accepted Enlightenment principles, making her case difficult to dismiss. Reception and legacy. A Vindication of the Rights of Woman was met with mixed reactions upon its publication. While some praised its intellectual rigor and moral vision, others dismissed it as overly radical. Wollstonecraft faced personal attacks that sought to undermine her credibility, reflecting the deep-seated resistance to gender equality in her time. However, the book's influence has endured. It is considered a foundational text in feminist philosophy, inspiring subsequent generations of thinkers and activists. Wollstonecraft's ideas resonate in contemporary debates about gender, education, and social justice, underscoring her enduring relevance. Conclusion. Mary Wollstonecraft's A Vindication of the Rights of Woman is a landmark work that challenges the entrenched inequalities of her time and lays the foundation for modern feminism. By advocating for the rational education and moral equality of women, Wollstonecraft envisions a society where justice and virtue prevail. Her critique of patriarchal norms and her call for social reform remain profoundly relevant, making her work a timeless call to action for gender equality and human progress.